What's up, guys? I'm Carl Carell. This is another Music Gear Monday. We are talking about transferring files from Ableton into the Force and from the Force into Ableton. I've been running into some issues. That's what we're going to talk about today on Music Gear Monday. Today, we're just talking about basically saving your session here as an ALS file and saving your session from the computer, how to do that. If you have a hard drive installed into your Akai Force, it's super easy to do. It's basically just plugging in a USB cable like this one. So I have this little USB-C cable plugged into the back of my drive, and I just plugged this guy into my computer, and I'm able to save that drive. So you can see this session right here is identical to this session here, and the way I was able to do that was by going into menu on your Akai Force, going into this icon up here at the top, and going into computer mode. So when I'm in computer mode, I plug my Akai Force into my computer. It's going to pull up as a hard drive, either in the top right hand of your computer or whatnot. This is that folder as it's open, and you can see I have it named Force Drive. So it'll show whatever drive is inside of your Akai Force. Once you do that, you're going to save your Ableton Live session. So I'm going to go Save Ableton Live Session. It's going to ask me where. I'm going to choose the Force Drive. You could see I already saved this beat in here. So here's the project right here. Once I save it, when I go back into this Force, I go back to standalone mode. First, you got to eject it from your computer, so don't forget to eject it. But we're going to go into standalone mode, which is basically going to take it out of our computer as a hard drive. And then it should show up. So you see I have another one showing up here. I can load that guy up. If it doesn't show up on your main screen as one of your projects, what you could do is go to Menu, and then you go to Browser, then you go to Places. This is going to show you your different places where you can have your internal storage, and this is the Force drive, the one I installed. So that has my projects, that has my splice files. It has pretty much whatever I want to put on there as well. So when I click on this project, it'll load right up. If I go back to Matrix, boom, there's that project. And you can see this project matches my Ableton project. That's a quick and easy way to get that Ableton project into your Akai Force. And I know there's probably a ton of questions like, how can I do VSTs and blah, blah, blah. Well, the quick short answer is you really can't do all those extra VSTs and different plugins that you have in Ableton because those are more of an Ableton program. You can use plugins and different things like that from your Akai Force and save those settings and import those into Ableton. And what it does a lot of times is print those effects, and you can do the same thing inside of Ableton. So if I'm in Ableton, this arcade plugin right here that I have, this is not going to work on my Akai Force. What I could do is play those samples that I want to play, record them to audio, and then we'll be able to use those inside of the Akai Force. So this, and I'm just showing you this as an example. It's a horrible example, but this that I just drew in these notes, with this VST here, it's not going to show up. But what I could do is I can insert an audio track in here, and I think I've showed people this before. I can go down to Arcade, and I can record that as audio. So I can record those notes from Arcade into this audio track. All right, so now I have these audio files, right? And so what I want to do is I get rid of record. And then if I save this session right now, so if I go and I save this, I'll plug my interface, and I'm going to plug the Akai Force in. So we're going to go back into the Akai Force, and we're going to go into computer mode. That's going to make it show up on my computer as a hard drive. So we can go back to the computer, and we're going to go File, Save As. I'm going to go to the Force drive, and I'm going to call this Drake Face. We're going to save that, inside of the force drive. Once that finishes saving, we're going to eject the force drive. And I'm sure you know how to eject a drive. Hopefully you do. And then we're going to go back into the force. We're going to go standalone mode. Yes. Pretty sure that saved everything. If not, then we might be SOL. All right, so test beat. I don't see it. Let's go into menu and let's go to browser and let's go to places, force drive. There it is right there. So Drake face test. Let's click on that guy. Unsupported number of audio tracks. Ooh, that's new. Let's resolve that. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I've never seen that. Internal error. So I believe we have an issue here. I'm going to do one more. So we're going to go back into Ableton Live, and what we're going to do, and I don't know if this is a compatibility issue or if, going from Ableton Live 11, saving these sessions and then going into the Akai Force is giving it issues, because if you save your session from the Akai Force and bring it into Ableton, it's gonna work. It works. But going from Ableton 11, the new Ableton, and going into the Akai seems a bit iffy. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go to Splice and I'm just gonna grab a couple of sounds. All right, so I have 4 different sounds that I've grabbed here. We're gonna go into standalone mode, so we're gonna put this guy into computer mode, not standalone mode, computer mode. Put this guy into computer mode. Boom. All right, so now it's in computer mode. We're going to save this onto the force drive, and we're going to call this one use the force. And then we're going to go back into standalone mode on the force, and we're going to see if this works. So it seems that getting your session from the Akai into the computer is easy, but getting your session from Ableton into the computer is somewhat having issues. And I'm not using any VSTs, any plugins, anything like that. We're just trying to save directly to. So we're going to go empty project. We're going to go to menu, browse, and then we are going to places, force drive, and then there it is, use the force. We're going to double click that and then double click the ALS file. And we've got a blank screen. Let's see if we're having issues today. There we go, internal error. So there you go. If anybody is having issues getting that, getting those sessions into your force, here's the forum to talk about that, because that is interesting. So if we go on here and we create Anyway, I just wanted to do something to show you guys exporting this as a session into Ableton. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to menu and we're going to go save. Actually, you don't even have to go to menu. You can go to save, and then you're going to want to go to Ableton Live. Ah, damn it. Save Ableton session. Include track volume pan settings. We didn't even mess with any of that yet, but it did save my volume settings on that other track that I saved. We're just going to export this as it is right now. So we're going to go export, and we're going to go to force drive. We're going to save it to the force drive, and we're going to call this one Do It. It's pretty simple. That was only like 3 tracks, whatever. So now what we want to do is go boom. Now we're in computer mode. Boom. Opened up the force drive. All right. I'm going to double click that Ableton session. Here we are. Let's see if... All right, so now that we're open up here, this file works perfectly fine now. And that is the same file. So if we go into standalone mode on this guy and we open up that session, so if we go in here and we go to empty project and we go to... menu, browser, places, force drive, So one issue that I'm finding is that when you make a beat in Ableton and you save those audio files in Ableton and try to export them into the Akai Force, you run into a couple of issues. One issue that is popping up is internal error. The second issue that is popping up is unsupported number of tracks. Good to see how these things are trying to talk to each other and what is working and what isn't working. If you own an Akai Force and you're running into some of these issues, comment below. Let me know if you have any workarounds. I am using Ableton Live 11. Sweet. I see that there is an Ableton Live Lite version that this likes to save to as well. So if you're using Ableton Live Lite and you are transferring anything from Ableton, let me know how it's working for you. On the basic level, you should be able to make some music on the Force, and if you want to, get even more crazier with that in Ableton, you are able to export that into Ableton and, finish the session there, add vocalist, whatever you want to do. And it should be the same thing around. If I want to perform my track out live, I should be able to bounce down those audio files and import them into Akai Force. It seems easy enough, but there seem to be some programming issues going on with both. And with COVID going on and these different things going on in the world, I'm sure it's a lot harder for both of these companies to work with one another on fixing a lot of those issues. That and Ableton already has the Ableton push, so I'm sure they're not really worried about helping Akai figure that out. Or maybe they are. We will see. But that's going to be it for Music Gear Monday. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any more questions as we dive further into the Akai Force. We'll see you guys here next week. Peace.